And welcome to another Block Chat, number 101. So we've made the 100 go away. We've lived beyond it. It's holiday season. Everyone, I'm sure, is very excited about the end of this year, beginning of the new year. And today on Block Chat, it's Denis Petrovcic and Makram Hani to talk about year 2024, but more year 2025. Can we call it the year of mass adoption?
I sure hope so. I mean, I believe mass adoption is around the corner, and maybe 2025 is the year when this shift happens. There's been quite a lot of advancements across Web3 that can make user adoption much easier. And this is not just something that has been happening for the past 6 months. It's something that has been happening for the past 6 years, let's say, where you have seen teams from various, parts of the world just improving and improving the user experience, so that people can trust and easily use Web3 just the way they are using Web2 now.
And so that the experience becomes seamless. We've been told something around a year and a half ago by someone who's very smart. He said, when people order from Amazon today, they do not need to think about anything of the experience or anything of the technology or anything of the logistics. They just order and they get delivered. And the minute that you, and he was talking to me, the minute that you live beyond the idea of you needing to explain the tech to people, and the minute that you mentally exit that point where I need to make sense, that minute becomes the minute that people will be ready, or the market will be ready, and you will be ready for mass adoption. So hopefully we are now ready for mass adoption. Now, we're doing too many things, Dennis, that does incentivize that or does reflect that, that we've understood that, and we have been working on it for a very long period of time now. And here it is coming live very soon. What are we working on and what's coming live?
Well, basically the interfaces that we built for our ecosystem, so those who are more familiar with Web3, as well as those who are more into real estate as an investment class. So we have on one side, we have our ecosystem of marketplace operators, and they operate these marketplaces. And part of those marketplaces is also the user interface. So how people create an account, how they go through KYC, how do they browse through various opportunities, and in the end, how do they transact, right? And those things are very important because each of those steps is basically a point of friction for a user to get onboarded. And what we need to improve, and what we have been improving in the next version of the marketplace app or the marketplace platform, is the user-facing interface. I'm quite excited because I've been seeing the team working on it, making improvements, and now we're at the stage where we start to look into the details. Every single word matters, every single description matters. Can we improve the user flow by removing a certain step? Do we need to add another step? But we are really in the final stages there, and I think that's gonna create a new shift in user adoption as well for our marketplace operators. So it's basically a tool through which they should achieve higher conversion and better results in the end. The other part is
Shall we tell everyone what's new? Yeah, what's coming? And some of it has been requested by the community, by members of the community multiple times over the past year or two. So shall we give them an idea of that?
Sure, we can go more in detail in the marketplace, how it looks. So basically, the redesign is making the whole interface much cleaner. That's one thing. Second part, it's using the whole width of your screen much more effectively, and as well, it has an infinite scroll functionality in the middle. So the layout is created in a way where lots of information can be presented in a nice and readable format to the user. Whether that's the view where you're looking at a specific real estate property or the marketplace where you're browsing through different opportunities. It introduces as well a much more robust provisioning of indexed on-chain data. So we've shifted from using the subgraph to using Envio, which allows us much faster delivery of new features because the turnaround or how the team can implement new data points and feed them to the application it's much more efficient. And I think this partnership is something that has been recently also announced officially on our channels. And I'm quite excited because I can see the dynamics of how our team now iterates new functionalities. It's way faster than it was before when we were using the subgraph and a lot of hiccups that came through the development stage.
Let me here mention something very simple, because what Dennis mentioned is um, includes also some tech information. Um, you will be able, or anyone will be able, to see what properties are on offer and what properties are tokenized without needing to log in and KYC. Now, to interact with them further, they need to log in, KYC, and do the right process, the right approach. But to be able to see it, so in other words, in the future, when there's a portal for tokenized property, it's similar to having a portal for property with a one difference: you can verify details, information, look at valuations, and online, and then purchase as well. Okay, and what Dennis here is mentioning is, rather than you needing to search, which is the case sometimes even with me today, when I enter a property, I need to search, where was this piece of information that I've seen last time and I loved? Okay, it will be much simpler, smoother, and it will be slick and clean for you to be able to reach the information you need.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's the same amount of information, more or less, but a bit presented in a bit more in a way where it's easier for the user to find it, right? Currently, you had to know where you need to click to find that piece of information. Now, even somebody who has been looking around the marketplace for just a couple of minutes should be able to find it. And I think that's one part. The other part, it's much cleaner user view, user account settings view and previous historic transactions and all of that. We've also introduced something that I believe everybody who is investing in real estate will appreciate. So we went into the basically charting out token price based on a premium on net asset value as the base point. So each property has a specific valuation in the real world, and then you will be able to see if tokens are trading above the NAV or below, so at the discount or at the premium on valuation. So that's I think a big change of how we perceive token value or property token value for the user. And as well, the secondary market. The secondary market is going to be much more alike buying, any type of tokens. There are in environments like Uniswap or the like, which is something that is more on the Web3 side. But whoever has used those interfaces doesn't have much. You select one token, the other token, and then you click buy. Today, this is as easy as that. And I believe buying property tokens should be just the same. So this is kind of a couple of things that are already there in the new marketplace, and then of course we have new features that will be packing into it. One of the most important things I believe is being able to transact with any stablecoin, and I think that's kind of a one of the top features being requested for some time now. So that maybe the routing happens through the IE, but but the purchase of the final token can happen from USDC or USDT. So basically, bring your own token type of approach. So those kind of things are there and coming soon. I really hope that we can come through with the testing of our kind of final version of this new marketplace by end of Q1 2025. And maybe, who knows, maybe we can be even faster than that.
Let's run everyone through the cycle of how we got here. What was the initial thought and how we got here, guys? If you remember, a few years ago, we used to say normalization and standardization is very important to the whole cycle. We used to say, and people used to look at us and say, really? We used to say that everyone is talking about tokenization and the process of buying and selling real estate tokens, but that's only the shell. To make that happen and possible, you need to go into the nitties and gritties of the whole cycle. And part of tokenization, part of real estate investment or quality investing is portfolio management and property management and the process that surrounds it. We talked about everything from IoT to AIoT, from preventative maintenance to predictive maintenance. And if you don't look at those, you're looking at the shell of an industry. If you understand real estate well, you understand that this is how it needs to be done. Now, what we've done is, starting by the tokenization process, what we've done is we married conventional with technology. So we're not disconnected from the real world and what can happen, because at the end of the day, we're trading a real world asset. The token is a representation of that real world asset or a part of it. It should hold all the economic values or all the value in general that real estate asset represents. And as you know, if you've invested in real estate before, especially international real estate or real estate at an international level, you would have understood that having access, having data, having information, having knowledge is very important. So I want to run you through a very fast thing of how we got to what we got. Yeah. So Blocksquare is the only, and Dennis, wherever here I miscorrect me, please. Blocksquare is the only tokenization entity that have gone onto the root of what the property represent as economic value through a corporate resolution, transferred this value on chain. Now, post that, we talked about valuations and we talked about the understanding of the property and the understanding of what surrounds it, from the city to the country, to the geopolitics that affect it, to the supply and demand game. And here tokalytics came into play, where you are able to understand the real value beyond normal data. And I tell you something, guys, I'm a real estate professional. I'm a professional investor. As well, I've done everything in real estate, from being a broker, representing a developer, and being a project developer, a project consultant. So I understand a bit of real estate. Yeah, not much, a bit. In that bit I understand of real estate, I can tell you that we struggle to find clean quality data. What do I mean by clean quality data? Sometimes there's so much data. Sometimes there's very little data. However, quality data and data that's relevant. And it takes us hours and days and so much energy and so much knowledge. You need the know-how to be able to structure it in a perfect stack, to be able to get analysis out of that data. And tokalytics gives you that route to a certain level, and it will be evolving with time and developing with time. The more data there is, the more standardized the data is. And I always used to give a silly example, but I'll give it again. If somebody is coming from Japan today and somebody is coming from Lebanon, somebody is coming from Lebanon and says, I want a big 3-bedroom, that's around 400 square meters probably. And somebody is coming from Japan, a big 3-bedroom is 90 square meters. As silly, as simple as that, a big 3-bedroom. We can't agree on it. So we need terminology that we agree on. Cities like Dubai that are looking to globalize and to really be connected to globalize, if you noticed over the past few years, have changed some of the units we use. We used to use square feet. Now we commonly use square meter, because in most countries, square meter is used. So that that standardization of terminology, of processes, of everything is important. And Tokalytics 6 sits at the base of that. Now, we did internally, but we didn't yet to you see the standardization processes on property management and portfolio management, which is very important, which is the core of investing in real estate. And Dennis, for example, on the properties that he does own and his company manages, understands that, lives it, and delivers it to a token holder at the end of the day. Because if that does not happen in a unified manner, when Dennis says it's a great return, what does it represent to you? A cap of 4 or a cap of 10? Those are important. If you look at a new interface that is coming out, you will see elements that signify that to you and signify that the people behind it do understand that and are passing it on. And when that happens, it gives you an ability to understand real estate and to understand that here, not only are you investing in real estate, you're investing in real estate the way that professional investors in real estate do it. I wouldn't go further beyond, but what I wanted to tell you here is what people see of the cycle in tokenization is digitization and fractionalization. Great, you create a ledger, you have it on it, you have data that is immutable, all is good, but there is way much more data processes and knowledge that is required beyond it. And this is what we've been working on. Now, here we'll not talk today too much about the tech, but we'll talk about how will the tech impact you, impact every marketplace operator, impact every community, part of real estate, of Blocksquare technology community and Blocksquare community. Dennis, when we talk about the coming experience, do you believe that that is the step that will make it Web 2-like at the base of it? Or do you think that we're still far away from getting to the ability to resemble a Web 2-like experience to people?
Well, I think that Web 3 and Web 2 are or will converge slowly into one. I think, 10 years down the road, we're not going to be talking about Web 2, Web 3 anymore. We're just going to be talking about the web, right? Just like we've been talking about internet or the web in the past. And now we're just talking about life because it's part of life. It's not something where we distinguish between being online and offline. It's just, the day goes by and, we just use whatever we use. I think it's going to be the same with Web3 and Web2 tools. Now we're making the distinguishment because obviously the two have a certain divergence, right? You need to be able to operate the wallet. I think in the future, that's going to be just inherently built into the capabilities of the devices that you own. And those things are already, happening with account abstraction and stuff like that. So I don't want to go too much into technical here, but there's things that have been already in development, as I said, by other teams that are becoming an industry standard or new standards within the industry, just making it easier and easier for users to interact with the applications that are around. We're now in the Web3 space. We're in a phase of, on one side, there's consolidation, but there's going to be thousands of different businesses doing more or less the same things. And there's going to be a challenge in understanding who to trust. After 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road in the internet business, today you have a couple of points that are trustworthy online, where you go and you book a room, or you buy a house, or you go look for information. So it's not like it's you need to go through a thousand different businesses. Obviously, if you go into something niche, then you go and you browse different options. But the industry as a whole has been consolidating, and I think the same thing needs to happen within Web3, so that it then can merge with Web2 in general as one. And that's I think a natural path is going to happen. I see that, um, in the next year, what we need to do as Blocksquare, basically, we need to make it much easier for people to buy into real estate. What we have been preaching needs to also be reflected in the tech we have. It needs to be very easy for people to understand if the investment is interesting for them or not. And I think you mentioned tokenalytics, and that's basically where I see, adoption of tokenalytics being a standard, maybe not only across Blocksquare's ecosystem, but hopefully also across the industry as a whole. And then last but not least, our approach of tokenizing real estate with the corporate resolution to transfer the economic rights, the work that we have done throughout this year, incorporating in the end a company in Luxembourg, and being able now to basically commercialize the process of notarizing every tokenization we've done in the past and we will be doing in the future, bringing additional kind of value or safety measures to the transfer of this economic rights from a real estate asset onto tokens with a charge on the land registry, and kind of standardizing this in our ecosystem, so that when people go and they see, oh, this has been tokenized through Blocksquare, they have that level of trust, that maybe going to other protocols or other projects, they are left wondering, how is that done? So I think we need to focus there to deliver those things, and I think 2025 will be a successful one for us.
Today, when you look at an RICS certified standard valuation, you don't need to worry about the quality of that valuation because generally it's standardized. Yeah, the red book is the same red book in Australia and in London and in the UK. So the thought of being able to take a standardized token, a standardized standard, Blocksquare as a standard, and again, there will be tokens in the future that are backed by real estate, certified and impacting the registry directly, and there will be others that probably are backed by a contract that is real estate, and the two hold different risk approaches, risk profiles, resemble something different, and the market will approach it that way. What we've learned over the past period of time is that people are buying real estate that is tokenized, or people are buying real estate and subscribing into the future of it, but are people who are smart, understand why do they buy it, how do they buy it, and what are they doing with it. And that's something that will continue to grow bigger the minute that the sample of us looking at tokenized real estate grows bigger. And I believe this sample is only growing bigger by the day. Now we have new marketplaces coming in from new parts of the world, and that is also significant. What's the significance of that? We have had a pretty great success over the past period. I believe the Launchpad was a great success because, and now we'll talk about why was it a great success, and that hopefully will continue into the future. We have no reason not to continue supporting startups, having our community subscribe to supporting startups that are interested to tokenize real estate and launch their own platforms. We still believe that real estate is local. Those platforms are putting an effort to get real estate onto chain, and some others are coming every few weeks. Who is coming, or if we don't want to talk about who is coming, how does the pipeline look in new marketplaces, and are they all coming through the Launchpad, and where do we see this going, Denis?
So we've done how much? I think nine successful launches so far, and that started at the end of June this year. So basically, we've had 6 months, launch 9 new marketplaces or new marketplace operators through the Launchpad. And I think that kind of showed us that the way to go to grow this ecosystem is through engagement with BST holders. I think the strong message here is how do you decentralize governance over who can use a specific piece of technology. In this case, that's Blocksquare's infrastructure, and we've seen a diversity of projects. And just looking at this small sample, it's not like there's 5 identical projects in it. Everyone is different. It's, the combination between who is the founding team, what is the target market, what niche within real estate, and where is it. You add those 4 components and you have every time a different recipe. And I think it's brilliant to see that already in less than 10 launchpad campaigns, we have such diversity. And I'll be frank, we didn't cherry pick those who are different. We've just picked those who seem ready to launch. And we've been pausing those who have been applying, but they need to bring it to a bit, to a higher level. And we've seen now the quality of submissions just going up and up. And we've decided now in December not to do any launchpad campaign because we have seen so much traction so far. Plus now there's the holidays, so we wanted to put a bit our community of BST holders at peace, and therefore I believe that in January we might see 3 campaigns being live at the same time, perhaps even. And I see that really, when we started Blocksquare, I said there were hundreds of marketplaces. No, there could be thousands. There could be actually thousands of these marketplaces. Will those thousands of marketplaces consolidate in the future, somewhere down the road, in 10 years' time, when we don't talk about Web3 anymore and Web2, but we again just talk about the web? Potentially, yes. There will be convergences between different marketplaces, and those marketplaces will have certain elements that are the same, and people will see that the management of those marketplaces could be done through a single entity, through a single operation, even maybe under the same brand. You could have 5 marketplaces doing, catering different types of investors or different types of assets and so forth, and just converging them together. So I think we are here at the right time, offering this myriad of possibilities of new businesses to emerge using the same technology, but just in a bit different way, on a bit different real estate asset type and class. And we'll see down the road where this leads. But I'm quite excited. I really believe that next year we should be close to reaching 50 marketplaces being operated on our platform, if not even more, perhaps.
What excites me here, guys, so much is not only are the marketplaces with the founders, the process, the vision different, but also what do they represent. So some of the founders are have plans to grow economic value through operating businesses on that real estate. Some others are founders who hope to have a great AUM in the future under their ecosystem. Because remember, a marketplace is a tool where behind you need to make sure that the property is managed properly. So either you manage it or you manage the management company that's managing the relationship with that management company. Portfolio management: when do you sell, when do you buy, when do you keep, when you let go the whole asset. So there's diversity of visions within that. There's diversity of where do they want to get to. Some of them want to, and we've been talking about one of those that is now in play. That it's a marketplace to launch, to sell, and to raise funds to build a big eco project, and that is of great value because of many reasons. And there's others, as I said, that have a totally different dimension in their approach. Soon we will see maybe institutional grade assets, the billion-dollar asset that's usually a REIT or an insurance fund target purchase, liquidated through our tech and through a marketplace that's operating on our tech. So there's much that is coming. The point of mass adoption, as I would like to call it, and let's hope that it is. I know that we've been saying that for a period of time now, but we haven't felt it the same way, because at no time did we have more than $100 million of tokenized assets on our tech ecosystem. At no time did we have around 30 marketplaces, coming up to 50 over the coming year, or maybe beyond that. And I believe that we are understating what it should become over the coming year, because my view is that it takes so much to do between 0 and 10 in such an approach, but it takes much less to do between 10 and 40, especially when you captured the formula that hopefully is a magic formula to be here and to stay for a time. So there's great things coming today. Come into our marketplace. You have vacations probably, or holidays. Enjoy this time to learn something new, understand the industry. You don't need to buy tokenized real estate today, but you may decide in the future on a marketplace that operates in your market, or in a marketplace that operates in a totally different market for diversity. Because if you are from Slovenia, you own a house in Slovenia, and you would like to invest in Panama maybe, or in anywhere else in the world, in the UK, and you don't want to allocate $1 million or $2 million or $10 million to that market, you check a marketplace, you learn about it, you learn about the real estate, do your research properly. Remember, it's if you want it to be of that impact, put that much effort into it, into understanding it, and then it will become a breath of fresh air. Hopefully in the future you can say, I'm putting $100 every month in so and so property, and another $100 for my daughter in so and so property, and this is how it runs. And hopefully it works. It works for us, it works for you, it works for everyone around. Dennis, what's our last words to our community today in the last block chat for 2024?
Well, looking forward to 2025. We've had just this week our Blocksmith campaign finalized or finished, and I think our marketing team is going to get back to you with, the results. So that's something that Julia asked me to mention for sure. Well, I'm excited. 2025, there's going to be a lot of the work done in 2024 is going to, come to life, let's say, because many times people say, well, you've been around, what's cooking, what's happening, what are you building something new, or that's it. And, we've been iterating what we've been developing, improving it all the way, since 2017. And basically the marketplace is, we call it V2, but it's actually V3 if you count the MVP that we've done back in the day. So really excited about the new marketplace. Excited about the new rebuilt app, the app for Oceanpoint. That's something we haven't discussed today, but it's also coming up in 2025. Those who are closely watching what we're doing, there's the second part of the name Oceanpoint is point, and this is also something that
You're saying so much.
we will be rolling out in various stages, in 3 stages actually. The first stage should take place somewhere in 2025. I don't want to jinx it at the moment, but it's happening, and the implementation of stage 1 is starting January 2025. the dev team from different parts is coming to Slovenia, where we'll be staying for a couple of days all together, packed in a house, implementing hopefully a big chunk of what will be then the final release of point tokens. And what else? I wish everyone a pleasant rest of the holidays and the celebration of the New Year. What about you, Makram? What are your last words?
I wish you all joy, health, happiness. We've written Merry Christmas wrong, probably, if I'm seeing it right. so, um, so guys, happy holidays. Enjoy your time. It doesn't matter. We're not perfect. You know that. At least we're honest. Enjoy the rest of the holidays. Wait on to what's coming. Remember, it is years in the making, but there is a moment of truth every day that we live. And for everyone who is interested in tokenized real estate, there is a moment of truth that will come. I said it around 3 years ago on the first block chat. I said, if you were Marriott, you waited for bookings.com to become huge before trying to play with it. You've waited for Airbnb to become a giant before coming on to play with it. If you are a taxi company, probably that works with Uber as well. Can you afford, if you're in fintech or prop tech, if you're in property or into anything that does anything with real estate as an asset class, wait for somebody to come and disrupt your market and become so big in it? Or would you rather give attention to it today? The big guys have started giving attention to it. There's much happening there, and on we go. Thank you all for being part of our energy for all of this time. Thank you, Dennis, for all the hard work and every single day that have passed, and all the variety of hats Dennis wears and many other members of the team do wear, but especially Dennis, because that variety of hats trying to and I got him a hat today, and I got approval from my son to wear it. It's a Rudolph hat, but unfortunately my son left the house and I couldn't find it after he did, so we're recording without it. But imagine me with a Rudolph hat.
And me with the sweater in
exactly.
the combination. That would have been amazing, right?
It would have.
Plus we have Santa on the couch.
On the couch,
back,
exactly.
sitting there.
Exactly. Thank you all for being part of our energy. Until the next year comes with much, much, much more for all of us. Have a good time. Dennis, enjoy your day.
Thank you, Makram.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.